ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
Elmore deep, left side three, good! From 30 feet, John Elmore!
The Drive with Paul Swann.
Welcome into the Tuesday, June 18th edition. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. We'll take your phone calls later this hour. You can join us by calling 877-420-TALK, 877-420-8255. Of course, our phone lines every day. Brought to you by Miller Lite. Hold true, great taste, only 96 calories. It is the original light beer, so we'll open the phone lines up to you a little bit later on. But I thought today would be a great opportunity to catch up with, one of my favorite coaches at Marshall University, and that's the head coach of the Marshall women's basketball team, Toney Kemper, as the summer's never a time off for these guys. Day camp is coming up soon, opportunity for your youngster to get professional instruction from a Division I college basketball coach. And have I hyped you up anymore, Coach?
That's enough. I'll tell you that. You've done enough. So it's good to be back on.
Yeah, we need to do this more. It's a fun time of year, though. You get a chance to really coach and work with youngsters who, at this point, they're playing the game for fun. They don't have maybe the stress, the pressure of what a Division I college athlete has, or someone who's trying to maybe make a future in this game. These are kids who are just having fun, and you're there to help them and enjoy the game and play better.
No question. Camp is I've worked camp for years now. I don't even know how many, but that's one thing we've done a pretty good job with the last couple of years of really building our camps into something pretty special. And we actually start on Monday at 8:30 in the Henderson Center, and we've got kindergartners through 8th grade, and we'll probably have a pretty good number up, 60 to 80, somewhere in there. And we have a lot of fun. We do a little bit of teaching. We get up and down and play games, and like you said, it's good time away. And usually I got 3 little ones, so I know this. They need some time running around this time of year because they usually have a lot of energy. We'll try to take some of that off their parents.
That's always a noble gesture to help the parents out. With the proliferation of camps across not just the tri-state, but everywhere you go, somebody seems to have a camp. What makes the Marshall camp special, or what's your sales pitch when you're talking to parents and they're trying to make up their mind where they're wanting to spend their summer dollars with their kid, and what do you usually tell parents that they're going to get out of that? Sure.
Well, I think you are correct. There's camps everywhere, and I know there's tons of good coaches in this area, in all sports and at Marshall as well. So, it's a great time for, we've got some of the best fans in the country, and it's a great time for them to interact with players, future ones, former ones. Shayna Gore's going to be there. She's obviously finishing up a fantastic career. She loves working with kids in the community. And, so it's one of those things where you get a chance to learn basketball, play in a tremendous venue, the Henderson Center, and, to get to do it with some of those players that, maybe they have a connection to because they've spent some time in the Henderson Center watching us compete. There's many, many reasons, and, those are a couple of the more important ones to me.
I'm sure this is not uncommon, but you feel like with these camps as well, you make fans, not just maybe strengthen those bonds, but maybe this is someone's introduction to basketball, or this is the first time that they've been in a structure like this. So you kind of feel like you're also making some fans and putting them in the right path, the right direction to really get the most out of basketball and enjoy it.
No question, and I think that's something that we have tried to do, do a really good job of, which is get our team and our players out in the community, interact with fans and Marshall people face to face. And, I know that how we represent Marshall is really important to me. It's really important to Mr. Hamrick and President Gilbert and people like that. So therefore, as you're building your program, which is what we're doing, every opportunity you get to get a fan and build a fan is really, really important. So we don't take it lightly, and I think you look over the course of the year, especially this past year, I think we certainly turned a lot of people into fans and opened some eyes as to what it's actually like, to be a Marshall women's basketball supporter.
Toney Kemper joining us, Marshall women's basketball coach, and camp is coming up this week. And, of course, you can go to herdzone.com. The registration link is up there for you, or you can contact Liz Brown, and her information's there as well. With camp, you mentioned Shayna Gore is going to be a participant helping out. How many other players or who else is going to be there that maybe fans know?
Sure. Well, we're going to have, we'll have a lot of our current players here. We actually have, I'm getting ready to practice with a group of about 8 that are here right now. We have about half the team here, and then we all get here in July. So there is a group that'll be in and out: Kadasia Brooks, Taylor Pearson, Kristen Mayo, some of those that played quite a bit the past year and have been big contributors to our success. They'll be around. Some of them have classes, so they're kind of in and out, but you're going to see, our staff. And, if you're involved with Marshall women's basketball, you're going to see us around.
Is it really a good feeling knowing that you've got so many players who are giving their time to be a part of this? It doesn't feel like this is really a drag for anybody, that they're willing to give up some free time to be a part of this.
Sure. No, they enjoy it. And, as I said, even in this conversation, I think we understand, everybody in our program understands pretty well that, we're trying to build a very loyal fan base, not only to Marshall, but to our program. And if you have been around our team in any fashion off the floor, they do a tremendous job of representing themselves, and they're fun to be around. And they are, they're tremendous people for, parents and to have their young ones look up to.
Now, day camp's not the only camp you're running. Of course, camps are all over the Tri-Cities. We mentioned you had team camp as well. So how'd that go? That's always a different animal than the day camp.
It went pretty well. It went pretty well. That's a camp that we're trying to get our numbers up in terms of teams and stuff. We hadn't had it for many years. We're on our second year in a row, and we had about just under 15 teams in. I'd like to get that number up 20, 25. I was talking to Neil Skaggs with the men. I think they're up around 40, and they've got tremendous, support from West Virginia, Kentucky, and we're trying to do that same thing to where it's up in that 40 range. And the great thing about our campus and facilities is we really have gym space to house a really good day camp like that. So we're continuing to try to build our team camp and get some more people in here. But we ran a good one. We've got good officials, and they do a nice job taking care of the game flow and everything. So I just kind of sit back and watch. It's a great time for me to really get a good grasp for the players in this area. Maybe some of the young ones coming up and in the programs around here. So I love it for that. We were able to watch some younger kids that maybe you don't get a chance to see in the summer as much because you're chasing upperclassmen, and that team camp is really valuable for that.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. Plus, with the fact that you do focus locally, you're looking for talent, wherever you can find it, but especially looking for local talent. It seems like that's a great way to really spread the word. Hey, we've got a great program here. You should come to a game now and then when you can, and if you can't, definitely come to these events because, how many Division I college basketball programs are in the area? Not many. There are not that many in the region. Sure. So, if you want D1, Marshall's a strong, viable option.
No question.
Toney Kemper is our guest, Marshall University women's basketball coach. So with all this going on, of course, I've seen some of the photos. I don't know how much of the renovation or the redecoration has been going on in your office and your locker room and all that, but it seems like they're sprucing up the Henderson Center as well. So great opportunity to get kids in just to see some of the changes that have been going on. It really looks like some time and energy has been put into making that facility sing and look even better.
No doubt, and I think, if you look at we've done kind of some aesthetic things again this year, which a couple years ago we did that. Last year we put that tremendous video board in the middle, and now we're putting some more signage up. I think it's, when you walk in that place, it's so much brighter than it was a couple years ago. And, the energy in the building for, a women's game last year, a men's game a year ago, I mean, it's tremendous. And I say this a lot. I mean, it is a great place to play college basketball. And, our team and our coaches are fortunate to be here.
Toney Kemper, our guest, Marshall women's basketball coach. Now, team camp is over, but day camp is coming up June 24th to the 27th, and you can register online. You can go to herdzone.com for all the details there, and it's pretty affordable. It's correct me if I'm wrong, it's $90 per participant, correct?
It is $90, that's right, because we just crossed over from our early bird. But I will say this, Paul, if they get a hold of me in the next 24 hours via email or Liz Brown, and they just put in their email that they heard us talking on the drive, I'll give them that $75. But
okay,
if you jump online, you can sign up all the way up through camp, and we'll take walk-ups. But other than mentioning that they heard us talking on the drive, it's $90. It's $75 early bird as well. So
okay,
they can save $15 if they're listening to us right now.
I like that. I like saving money. That is something that I encourage everyone to do. Save money. It sounds like it's going to be a fun time for everyone, and of course, you've got a lot to show off to these kids. Of course, you had a nice run in the postseason. Really getting this team to a point where that's expected now. We don't look at that and go, hey, that's amazing. We look at that as if, okay, that's where we expect Toney to have this team, because that's how you want it to be. That's the expectation, not the exception.
Yeah, no question. I'm really excited about the team that we got coming in. We lost some really key people. There's no question about that. And yet, I think that we've definitely lost some talent. We've also infused our team with plenty of talent. We've got to go figure it out. I think, the team that was in here a year ago, they really get a lot of credit for learning how to, be gritty and tough and find a way to win, because we got really, really good at that towards the end of the year. So you're right. That's kind of our expectation and where we want to be. We want to be up there working for one of those buys in the Conference USA tournament. We were certainly right there last year. Came up really just an overtime game against Western Kentucky, short of getting a bye. So excited to go to work this summer, and look forward to seeing everybody at camp on Monday and in the Henderson Center this fall.
Joining us on the program, he is the head coach of the Marshall women's basketball team, Toney Kemper. Good luck with camp, Coach. We'll have you back soon, and looking forward to this upcoming season. I know bigger and better is where you're heading, and thanks for coming on and sharing that with us. We had fun last year following you, and hopefully we're going to have some more fun.
Appreciate you having me on, and like I said, shoot myself or Liz Brown an email. Let us know that you heard us talking on the drive, and we'll get you that discounted price for camp.
Excellent. Coach, have a good camp.
Thanks,
we'll talk
Paul.
to you soon.
See you.
It's Toney Kemper, Marshall women's basketball coach. So, yeah, you heard that. If you let Coach know between now and tomorrow that you heard him on the show and you're interested in this camp, you're going to get yourself a discount. Also, you can contact Liz Brown. If you're listening to us on the podcast, we'll put that in the show notes. We'll take our first break. We'll come back. We'll get your phone calls in. You can join us anytime by calling 877-420-TALK, 877-420-8255 on the Miller Lite phone lines right here on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
You're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to the Tuesday, June 18th edition. The Drive on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930. Our phone lines, Miller Lite phone lines, 877-420-TALK, 877-420-8255. Miller Lite, hold true, great taste, only 96 calories. It is the original light beer. Now, as we mentioned earlier, if you were listening to the program, Toney Kemper is going to give you a discount for the day camp if you mentioned to him that you heard him on the show. So if you don't take advantage of that and you want to go to this camp, you're missing out. So he'll give you a $15 discount if you sign up here the next 24 hours and mention you listen to the show. And that's not the only camp going on. Of course, camps are going on. I know volleyball's got their camps going on, and that's important. Men's basketball, they've got camp going on as well. Camps are really a great time for not only players to kind of meet kids in the community, work with them, coaches as well, really bring some awareness to some of these younger kids about Marshall University. So these things are really important, especially with the Olympic sport. So more information, you can always go over to herdzone.com. It's under the Inside Athletics link, and all you have to do is scroll down. You can go to any of the camps, including men's basketball, women's basketball as well. As we mentioned, team camps going on right now for the volleyball team, but that's not the only camp. The elite camp is coming up for volleyball as well, and the all skills camp. They got position camp. Man, they got a lot of camps. Volleyball's got a lot of camps. Ari is not messing around at all. She definitely is taking charge of everything. But the team camps, what's going on right now, and of course with men's basketball as well, they've got their events going on, and youth camp is going to be interesting, to say the least. And they got the elite prospect camp. You guys have got a lot. We got dual producers here in the studio today. We have got, of course, our old regular standby, the old man himself, Gabriel Sellards, and special intern producer Jansen Williams. And I'm already taking advantage of that. We've got confirmed for tomorrow Jared West, I believe, coming on the program tomorrow. We're going to talk some basketball camps as well because, well, they have got more action going on over at the Cam Henderson Center. They have got camp that's coming up, and that's scheduled. Team camp is scheduled for June 20th and 21st. And I think you're still taking registration for that. You can get into that right now. If there's anybody who wants to get in that late, I think Neil Skaggs has taken registration on that one. So lots of camps going on over at the Henderson Center, and of course, I can't wait till we get all past that and just get some action here. Football first, and then of course we'll get the basketball as well, and everything else in between. Because right now, only thing I've got is hockey. The draft. Hey, whoa! I don't care. You're taller in there, Jansen. I don't want to hear that. That's why your microphone's off. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that as well. Man, I'm getting heckled in there from. Okay, we'll see. Jansen will have like a 3-point game, and I'm gonna remind him of this conversation. What's wrong with hockey? We got the draft, of course. That's coming up, and I'm looking forward to that. And NBA, we've got free agency, and that's definitely going to be fun. And the draft there. Baseball continues, of course. So that's our summer right now. We've got women's soccer. That is going on. The WNBA. We got all of that going on right now. Look, I know you're a big soccer fan in there, Jansen. I know. Okay. We're not letting him on the show because he's actually supposed to be working today, so we're not going to let him actually on the show in here. So it's just basically me talking and relaying his facial expressions. Just don't telegraph that stuff when you're in your court this fall. Just don't be telegraphing that because right now you're telegraphing everything completely. All right, so I can't believe though you're not on board with the women's soccer team, the USA. You're on board with that though. Okay. All right, we've established that. USA, we're all on board with that. I like this villain role they're playing. Sure, they're blowing teams out right and left. I like this role. That's what I want in soccer. I want 13-0. I want 7-0. I want that. That's what I want. You know what? Give me a 6-5 match. I'll take that. I don't think coaches over at the vet would be agreeing with Matt because again, I don't know do soccer coaches want to be in a 6-5? Do they like 1-0? Because that seems to be the standard. 1-0, 2-0. Oh wow, that was a great match. 2-0. No, I want 7-8. I want 5-6. I want 13-0. I want lots and lots of scoring and no defense. None. I want the Marshall basketball equivalent of soccer. Lots of scoring and no defense, Jansen. That's what I want. Now, you guys are working on defense. I got to quit picking on those guys. They're definitely working on defense. And it seems like the rules changes, and we'll get Coach in here eventually to maybe, now that he's got a chance to look over the rules changes. But I think you're going to see this is going to open it up a lot, but at the same time, I think you're going to see teams that are going to have to focus a lot more because there's going to be a little more floor space. It's going to be you can't just pack it in. You're actually going to have to just play defense. It's a complete – yeah, exactly. So we like what we see so far, and I think I like the style of play that's happening. So I think this is going to be fun. All right, we'll take our next break. We'll come back. We will carry on. You are invited to join the program. 877-420-TALK, 877-420-8255. Second half is coming up. It's The Drive, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Now, back to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to the Tuesday, June 18th edition. The Drive continues on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930. Now, of course, we're in the dog days of summer, even though my calendar doesn't say summer begins until another couple of days. It's summer. So we're in summer right now. And, of course, this time of year, we don't have our mainstays to really talk about every day. I mean, we can talk about, Jansen shot the ball in gym 50 times yesterday. We could talk about that. And he made all 50. We could say that. 5-0, perfect scoring. I mean, well, you're the new face. I'm making you the face. Jansen Williams, our producer. I'm making you the face of Marshall basketball. I know I'm going to take some heat from some of the other teammates. Okay, I'm good. Jared West not going to have an issue with that. I mean, you're bigger, but he's scarier. I'm just going to say that right now. Man. He is he's like a pit bull when he's out there. It's just dogging. I'm going to ask you this one question, so let's get him on the mic real quick. I'm just going to ask. So this is why we have two producers, so you can put one on mic. It takes two in there. All right, one question with Mr. Jared West being the scariest herd player on the team right now. What's it like when you're in practice? You're in a situation where he's guarding you.
I make sure that doesn't happen.
Smart.
So, there's no way he's going to guard me because I'll make sure that does not happen.
Okay.
I know what's going to happen.
He can't guard you because you're not on the court to be guarded by him.
Exactly. Honestly, yes.
All right. Is he like that in practice with everybody, though? Just dogging players?
Yes. There's no refs in practice, so there's more of a dog in him.
So he can do more?
So you can kind of get away with a lot of stuff, but
okay.
He tears us up in practice, yes.
Okay. All right. He's going to come on the program tomorrow, and I'm going to ask him what it's going to be like to guard you because now he knows you're ducking him. That might happen. That matchup might happen in practice a little bit more. So I'm looking forward to that interview tomorrow. I definitely am. But no, we're in the dog days of summer. So of course, with radio shows that we focus a little more on local. We don't focus on the NBA every day, the NHL, the NFL. We don't try to focus on all of those stories. We try to keep it a little local here, and I like looking at the national publications. Like today, Sporting News, for example, came out ranking college sports top football, basketball coaching combos. And, it's an interesting read. Like, not 20th, you got Scott Satterfield and Chris Mack from Louisville. Virginia, their duo of Bronco Mendenhall and Tony Bennett, 19th. Michigan's 18th with Jim Harbaugh and Juwan Howard. Ryan Day and Chris Holtman, 17th, even though Ryan Day's still a new coach. And, we go down the list, and UCLA, Chip Kelly and Mick Cronin, that's a good duo right there. Georgia with Kirby Smart and Tom Crean, that's a good duo there. Mark Stoops and John Calipari from Kentucky, that's a good duo there. where does Dan D'Antoni and Doc Holliday rank among these guys? Like Mac Brown and Roy Williams, North Carolina, number one. Mark D'Antonio and Tom Izzo, second. David Cutcliffe and Coach K for Duke for third. Those are good. Yeah, Saban and Nate Oates. Alabama, Saban and Nate Oates. I'm sorry. That's Saban. That's all Saban. No disrespect to Nate Oates, but this duo's not fifth because of Nate Oates. I mean, okay, Oates got 59 and 13 as the last two seasons at Buffalo, and he just rolls into to the Alabama situation now. But that's Saban. That's all Saban right there. But where does Holliday and D'Antoni rank on this? I'm kind of curious. Where would you put them as far as a coaching duo? And that's an interesting thought. Coaching duos. Could you put together a list? What are the best coaching duos, football and basketball, all time at Marshall? That's going to be a homework assignment. Yeah, where would you rank those coaching duos? Yeah, can you? Of course, that means you're going to have to look at some years where it's Cam Henderson. I mean, you got to put him up there. Could it be Henderson and Henderson because he was coaching football and basketball at one point? So, I mean, he's a duo all by himself. But you've got those, of course, Pruitt years. You've got those Donnan years. You've got the Holiday years now. And I would say right now this is the most successful duo in a long time of Dan D'Antoni, Doc Holliday. So I'm kind of curious, where would you put this duo in comparison to some of the other coaching duos? And do you even think that this is the all-time best duo of coaches? So I'm kind of curious where those guys would rank in your mind there, and then compared to some other Marshall coaches with both football and basketball. And yeah, we're gonna eventually just really break it down. What are some of the best football and basketball duos? Like, if you're gonna go duos of Marshall athletics, number one is Pennington and Moss. Number one. And then I know a lot of you are going to come back on me and say, well, yeah, but don't forget you're leaving out Elmore and Burks. That's a great duo. That's a great duo there. Where do you go? Even a better question. Best all-time duo, Pennington Moss, Elmore Burks. What's the better duo? Football versus basketball here. Let's just go ahead and pit them together. Do you take Chad Pennington and Randy Moss and put them on top, or do you see the success that Marshall basketball's had and the two guys that went out, we can put them together now, Burks, Elmore? Is this the all-time best duo, or do you go back to the football days of Randy Moss, Chad Pennington? Where do you put those duos at? I'm interested where this might go. You can find me online at Paul Swann on Twitter, at Paul Swann. Also, you can join the program by calling the Miller Lite phone lines. That's right, 877-420-TALK, 877-420-8255. Those are the best duos. I mean, we could be forgetting some guys. Don't forget, there are some really good players out there that hooked up and played both football and basketball. Where would you put those two groupings, though? Or is there a better grouping that we're not talking about? I mean, does it have to be a quarterback, wide receiver, or two basketball players? I mean, does it have to be as far as duos? I mean, as far as maybe your mind share is concerned, that's where we go. But I mean, was there a duo in women's basketball that we're not talking about that, okay, you know what, Paul, you better talk about this grouping? Or is there a duo in another sport that we're not talking about? It's kind of hard when you get to some of the other sports. I mean, tennis, you can do duos because you've got doubles. You can do that in football. You can do that in basketball. I mean, I don't think you can do duos in softball. Can't do that. Baseball, you can't do that. No. Volleyball, I don't know if you can do duos because it's such a even though basketball is a team sport as well, you get a couple of players together and you can really go. Volleyball, that's an interesting concept right there. Can you do that for volleyball as well? We will comb the records. I'm leaving this one up to you, though. I don't want to throw suggestions out there because I want to give you an opportunity to think of them yourself. That's why I started you out. Moss, Pennington, Burks, Elmore. Duos. Was Henderson and Skip Henderson, John Taft, was that really a duo? Two of the all-time greatest at Marshall University in basketball. I don't know if you can really count them as a duo, even though they were on the same team for a year. I mean, you got some great individuals, but as far as a 1-2 punch, and of course, if you're football, I know right now some of you are going, and you're not hitting the phone lines, some of you are going, wait a minute, what about Cato? What about Cato? And that other kid, you know what I'm talking about, Tommy Schuler. You know what I'm talking about. What about, is that your better duo? Cato? I mean, Pennington or Cato is your quarterback. See, here you go. That's your homework assignment. I'll let you think about it for a few minutes. We'll take our final break. We'll come back and we'll see what your homework has come up with. Again, you can find me online, Twitter, at Paul Swann. Also, you can join the program live, 877-420-TALK, 877-420-8255. More on the way. It's The Drive, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
You're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann, the 2019 West Virginia Broadcasters Association Best Talk Show on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Okay, I'm doing some of your homework for you, but I've got a few duos. I'm focusing football right now. I'm going to leave basketball up to you. You've got to give you something. You can be a part of the program by joining us by 877-420-TALK, 877-420-8255 on the Miller Lite phone lines. Also, you can tweet me at Paul Swann. So, I guess we're looking for the best duo of all time at Marshall University. Be it football, basketball. I mean, maybe we'll throw volleyball in, throw some of the other sports in, but right now, I've got 4 duos that are candidates. Of course, Pennington the Moss. That's your first choice. Then you've got Michael Payton to Troy Brown. I mean, where would that one? I mean, if you're going to take one wide receiver and one quarterback, do you take Pennington and Moss or do you take Payton and Brown? It's close for me. That one's close to me. And of course, then I can't forget Mike Bartram. So Payton to Bartram or Payton to Brown. If you're looking at a quarterback duo with a receiver or a tight end, both those combinations are pretty scary. And of course, Cato to Schuler. Right there, that's 4 groupings. Those could be your top candidates for best duo. And, of course, I threw out the easy one for you, Elmore and Burks. Do we work some running backs in here? Can you have a quarterback running back duo? Because then you got Pennington and Chapman. What are you going to take? You're going to take Pennington the Moss or Pennington and Chapman? Think of it that way. And don't forget, you got not only Randy Moss drafted into the NFL, and I'm not talking about what they did in the NFL. I'm talking about this is college here. That 1999 team, James Williams got drafted. He was in the 2000 draft. James Williams got drafted. Now, nobody says Pennington to Williams. It's Pennington to Moss. Nobody says that. But you got Chapman sitting there. And, of course, really, we're talking offense here. we're talking offense because, I could just go back to that 1999 team. I could go there, and I don't know how we work this out as a duo, but I mean, you got John Grace, you got Rogers Beckett, you got Max Yates, Gerardi Mercer, Ronnie Bowman. I don't know how you work those defensive guys into a duo. So maybe we just need to start with just offense. That's the criteria here. The criteria here is best duo at Marshall University. And I'm going to throw up Pennington and Moss. That's my go-to. That's my meme. That's my internet meme. When you see people on Twitter throw up pictures of, say, the Kardashians and go, best duo ever, who's better? I throw up the Pennington Moss. Just flip those kids out who have no concept of who these two are. Just flip them out. It doesn't matter. I'm entertaining the people who know me. That's what I'm doing here. I'm going. Yeah, so don't throw that. If you throw that up on Twitter, if I see it, name another duo better. Prove me wrong. Pennington Moss is the meme I throw up. I don't know. Maybe in a few years, I'm going to throw up Jansen Williams. And I don't know who you're going to pair with, Jansen. Jared West. Okay. Jansen Williams and Jared. Okay. Is it Elmore Burks or Jansen and Jared? The J&J Express. We'll see. We'll see. We will see here. I'm not even going to go any further into basketball right now because we get to decide football. We can't leave football hanging because you can go Peyton to Brown or Peyton to Bartram or Pennington to Moss or Cato to Schuler. That's going to be the Twitter poll right there. That, I just got to decide Peyton to Brown or Peyton to Bartram. Or do we, I can't do Peyton like this, Brown and Bartram. I mean, is that the better duo? Even though they're not throwing and passing to each other, they're both catching. Is that the better tandem of Bartram and Brown? I mean, I might win on that one. Okay, so sorry, Michael. I mean, you're still my favorite quarterback. I miss him. I miss that guy. I really do. He was really, such a gentleman. And, always thought that, hey, you know what, Pennington got all the love, and so he should have, but Michael Peyton should have got more love. Just because my first championship in football was that Michael Peyton team. But for this argument here, I think we're going to go with Brown and Bartram. Brown and Bartram, Pennington and Moss, or Cato and Schuler. All right, that's going up on the Twitter poll. That'll come up after the show. For those of you listening live on the podcast, of course, you can join us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn, wherever you get your podcast, and we'll put that up and leave it up for until the show tomorrow. That'll be the poll question. We'll get you your homework. And then, of course, if you've got a duo, an alternate duo, I want to hear it. I think I'm putting Elmore and Burks up there. We'll see. We'll see. That might be a separate poll, though. Okay, let's just figure football out first. Best duo. All right, so we've got that. That's going to be decided hopefully by you tomorrow. My money's on Pennington and Moss. It really is. But we'll see. We'll see what happens here with Cato and Schuler. All right, coming up on the show tomorrow, one of the future duos, or at least half of one of the future duos we'll be talking about. Jared West is going to join us tomorrow on the program. We're going to talk to him about camp that's coming up for the men, as well as I believe David Kahn will be joining us as the South Atlantic League All-Star Game going on in Charleston. So we're going to try to get him on the program tomorrow as well for a recap of all the festivities. I've read a report that with all the activities that are going on, youth soccer, you've got the All-Star Game, they're looking at a economic windfall of about $10 million in the Kanawha Valley, or at least the Charleston area, about a $10 million economic windfall. And that's just with the recent events here. They are serious about attracting those youth sporting events in the Valley. And I know that's something that has been talked about as far as what Huntington's trying to do with its development, you get the Brownfield project and everything that goes along with that. But that's the kind of money you get coming into the economy with these type of events. And I did read Mr. Landon's article or his column on the fact that they're trying to alternate the Super Six in football, which I think is a brilliant idea, only because I think there'll be more interest if that game moves around. You have it at one location that's not really centrally located for anyone, and it's been there for a long time. I mean, Charleston did drop the ball years ago when the Super Six left Charleston and went to Wheeling. But if you could get that game elsewhere, I think that will help it a little bit. Because unless you get it into a central location like a Charleston, I mean, if you can get it at a facility that's able to host that thing, and really, I don't think you want to have that at Marshall or Mountaineer Field. I mean, Lately probably, but I don't think you want to have a Super Six at those facilities because they're too big. They're just too big. You don't want to have – this isn't other states where you're going to have 20, 30,000 in the seats. I mean, no offense to West Virginia high school football, but it's not at that point where you can attract 30,000. You're not going to get 30,000 to come and watch a high school football game with two teams probably in the region that honestly may not be from the southern half of the state. You put it in Huntington, or if you take that to Mountaineer Field, it's definitely going to be too big of a facility there. So maybe Bluefield make a good pitch for it. I like that idea. So hopefully that's something that can come to fruition. Of course, I wouldn't mind seeing it in Huntington. I really wouldn't. But I don't think the facility's right for it, even though it would be a great windfall. But you got a championship game, maybe 10,000 in the football stadium. It really doesn't look good. Not the same atmosphere. You don't want that as well. I would love to see, though, I don't know if it'll happen anytime soon, but I would love to see the basketball tournament make its way to Huntington. I would like to see that alternate. I've always thought it could alternate between, if the facilities were available, Morgantown, Huntington, and Charleston. You could have that alternate. But, of course, Charleston does a pretty good job. They have expanded their convention space and everything that goes along with it. Basketball, not so much. And you see, again, you got wrestling that's in Huntington as well. So, yeah, I don't want to give up one for the other. Yeah, I'll keep the wrestling tournament. I think that's a great tournament. It makes sense for the whatever we're going to call the Civic Center now that it lost its sponsorship. By the way, they put the big video board on the front of that. They got the new blue paint scheme. Looks nice on the outside. Got to get the paint scheme on the inside now. We got to work on that. That's going to do it for this edition of the program. I'm going to thank our duo of Gabriel Sellers and Jansen Williams behind the glass. Back tomorrow. We'll do it all over again right here on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
WRBC Huntington, W227BS Huntington, your flagship home of the Marshall Thundering Herd and The Drive with Paul Swann, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.